I think there comes a point where you have to admit that your home is never really about your home and the stuff in it. And I know I bang on about this, but I seriously mean it because I spent years thinking that I had a stuff problem and actually I had a life problem. From the outside, my life looked absolutely fine, if not great. Nice home, growing business, a partner, family. Nothing was dramatically wrong, except I was fucking miserable. And I didn't really want to admit that to myself or anyone else. Because then what? I had a life that I should have been grateful for. So I kept telling myself exactly that. Stop complaining. Other people are in a much worse situation. Be grateful. Just get on with it. And I think that so many women do some version of this. Maybe your life isn't terrible. Maybe that's almost the entire problem, because it's fine. But you know that somewhere underneath all of that noise and the washing and the school runs and the work and the endless shit that needs doing, that this isn't quite how you want your life to be and feel. And then you look around your house and that doesn't feel like you either. There are clothes for a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. Things you feel guilty getting rid of because someone else gave them to you. Things you've moved from house to house to house and haven't used in approximately 14 years. Stuff for hobbies that you're definitely going to start again one day. Stuff for a person that you think you should be or that someone else wants you to be. And every time you try to sort it out, you get overwhelmed. You move a few things around, make a pile to deal with later, and somehow end up keeping most of it anyway. And you think that you just need to get better at decluttering, organizing, or getting better storage solutions. But you don't, because you cannot create a life that feels like you whilst you're physically surrounding yourself with evidence of every single version of you that you're scared to let go of. That was the bit that I didn't understand. When I finally stopped asking, do I need this? And started asking much bigger questions about who the fuck I actually was, what I wanted my life to look like and who I was becoming, getting rid of stuff became the easy bit. And something else happened. My decisions started changing. My standards changed. The things I was willing to tolerate changed. And eventually, my entire bloody life changed. And this is why Break Up With Your Stuff isn't really a decluttering program. Because what we actually do goes way, way, way beneath the surface. We get into the thoughts, patterns, habits, and beliefs that have been secretly running your decisions for years without you even realizing it. The real stuff. The identity stuff, the stories you're carrying around about who you are, what you deserve, and what you're actually allowed to let go of. And this is exactly why so many women take a surface level decluttering course or spend an entire Sunday reorganizing their house and find themselves a few weeks later standing in the same chaos because they haven't changed anything underneath. So either the decluttering still feels outrageously difficult, or they make a bit of progress, but then it doesn't stick. Or they go round and round and round and round and round in circles, unable to make a single decision, wondering what the hell is wrong with them. And nothing is wrong with them. They've just been trying to solve the wrong problem. I ask the questions that actually get underneath it, right? The ones that no one else is asking. The uncomfortable ones that make you go, oh, okay, that's what's actually been going on. And when you do that work, the decisions stop being agonizing. They start feeling obvious. And yes, your house is going to change. Of course it is. We're going to get rid of a lot of stuff. But that's almost the least interesting bit. One of the women in the first round had 3 young kids, including a baby, a house renovation that she was living through, and, in her words, enough stuff to survive 2 apocalypses. And a couple of weeks in, she sent me quite an emotional message saying that she'd walked to the local farm with her baby, bought eggs, and made fresh scrambled eggs for them both to eat together in the garden. Maybe it sounds like a tiny thing, but 2 weeks earlier, she was giving him food out of pouches because she couldn't find the time to make nutritious home-cooked food for him. Her children hadn't disappeared. Her renovation hadn't magically finished overnight. Someone hadn't gifted her an additional 6 hours a day and a private chef. Her life was still her life. But she was experiencing it differently. And it wasn't just her. One of the other women started a run club. She'd spent years telling herself that she wasn't a runner, that she couldn't do it. And the identity work that we covered changed that dramatically. And then there was something else. So many women came in absolutely sick to the back teeth and exhausted from nagging their partners about the stuff, nagging their kids about the mess, having the same arguments on repeat and getting absolutely nowhere. Not one of them had to have a single argument about it inside this program. They didn't nag, they didn't moan, They didn't huff underneath their breath when they walked past their partner. They just started doing the work, right? They started showing up differently in their own homes. And as if by magic, the family followed. The kids started tidying up after themselves, not because they'd been told to, but because they could suddenly see where things actually went. One woman's husband was texting his mum to come and sit with the kids so that she could still go swimming that week, even though he was working late, without her even having to ask. When you change, the energy in your home and relationships change. And the people in it feel it, even when you haven't said a single word. And that is what I want for you. I don't want you to just have less stuff. I want you to have more fucking life. I want you to become the most sensational version of you. More space, more time, more of your actual self back. But I need to say something before you decide and click the link, because this isn't for everyone. And I mean that. This is not a 2-minute job or a magic bullet. We're not in Hogwarts. It is absolutely not a program where you sit back and wait for things to change around you with zero effort. It is not for women who are still in the very big business of blaming absolutely everything else. The partner, their kids, the house, the job, the cost of living, the bloody government, the perimenopause, the exhaustion, the overwhelm. Or they've tried before and it just didn't work. So clearly they're just one of those people it didn't work for. And I am not dismissing any of that. Those things can be very, very real with serious impact. What I'm talking about isn't whether those things exist. I know they do. It's whether you're using them as a reason to wait. Because waiting for your circumstances to change before you decide to feel differently about your life, I have never, ever seen that work. Not once, not for anyone. And I say this with zero judgment because I was that woman for years. I blamed everything external that I could possibly find. My relationship, my circumstances, my ADHD brain, my depression and anxiety, my endless debt, everything. Other people, the fact that my life was just hard. And what the hell was I supposed to do about that? I spent years waiting for external things to change so that I could finally change too. And nothing changed because nothing could. Not until I took the one thing that felt fucking terrifying, responsibility, and stopped waiting for my life to get easier and decided to become the woman who had the life that I wanted. So if any part of you is sitting there thinking, yeah, but you don't understand my specific situation, I probably understand it more than you'd like me to. You are not the exception. Everyone thinks that they are the exception. I did too, but you're not. And I also know that no program, including mine, is going to change a single thing until you decide that it's actually your job to change it. And look, if any of that made something in you go a bit quiet or a bit defensive, and then, if you're being really honest, had a moment of, actually, she's not wrong. I am done. I am sick of this. That is your sign. That's the one. That's the exact feeling I spent years running away from. And it's also the feeling that when I finally stopped trying to escape it, changed everything. If you are 100% committed to doing the actual work with the right information and the support, and you're ready to stop waiting for the right time or the right circumstances or for everyone else in your life to finally make it easier, then this is for you. And if you've been reading my emails or reading this page and thinking, fuck, she's talking about me, she's literally in my head, I probably am. Come and do this with me. Just click the link below this video to save your spot inside Breakup with Your Stuff. And if you have any questions at all, just send me an email or a DM on Instagram and I will get back to you. I cannot wait to see you inside, darling.